Hi. Welcome to our podcast. And today we're going to speak about sleep routines, naps, and many more. I have here my co host, Mr. PH. Lovely to see you, sir.
Hello, I'm Pierre, and welcome to the show.
Yes, hi. So, anyway, let's speak about sleeping.
Sleeping is an excellent idea. We don't take our sleep too seriously, and I believe it's a huge part of our well-being, happiness, and
Our life.
productivity of our life. And yeah, you're right. Actually, sleeping, we sleep. We consume a huge amount of our life sleeping.
Yeah, so apparently if you accumulate all those sleep hours that you have, it will be probably more than 10 years, I suppose, no?
I believe so. I didn't do the math,
Yeah,
but did
people
you?
people do the math, you know. But yeah,
Some people did already.
some people did.
Oh, good.
But that will be like for people
Yeah,
who
10
sleep
hours.
for 8 hours or so.
Oh yes. And it's funny because a lot of people think sleeping is a waste of time. I know other people. They say, "Oh, my passion is sleeping." That's true. Um, and actually sleeping is also really important, but for the majority of us, eating won't be a waste of time. I don't really, I mean, some people think eating is a waste of time, but usually not that often. However, sleeping, a lot of people see the act of sleeping as a waste of time. However, we don't feel well if we don't sleep a lot, and I believe yes, sleeping is a really important kind of. We recover. I mean, the body recover itself and try to put all information we got during the day, everything. Try to clean up the body as well during the sleep to be again able to behave as normal the next day. I mean, now when we don't sleep, we don't, even if we don't sleep for a night, sometimes it's really fine too. But I believe from studies, at least, if I want to believe those studies, sleeping is very important to reinforce also everything we learned over the last day. And yeah, it's an important process.
Yeah, apparently, I think I've heard about this in a video that scientists don't actually know why we sleep. Because why do we have to do it? It must be.
It's so funny. I mean, sleeping actually scares at the same time, especially for kids. When I was a kid, to me, sleeping, I was always scared to not wake up the next day.
That's so dark.
Yeah, no, because when you sleep, you are not conscious,
Yeah.
This is why it's a bit scary, because when you sleep, you are not really conscious of you don't have the control of your life. When you sleep, you are a bit not miserable, vulnerable. It's yeah.
Yeah, so
It's a bit weird at the same time. So you said scientists don't actually know why
don't
we
actually
sleep.
know why we sleep and why do we need it so much. But then it.
Mm.
I mean, maybe
And like who said we have to sleep for 7-8 hours?
that's right? Because if we sleep for just 3 hours and then we feel so bad the next day. It's like when you try to pull out an all-nighter, but then you know what, I need sleep, but then you sleep only for 3 hours and then you feel so bad, just so bad. It has to be from 7 to 8 hours, which is like why.
Indeed, yes.
Why? We actually don't know yet, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but yeah, it's like it's a bit weird, I would say. So, anything you have to say about your sleep cycle, sir? Let's start with that. How is
Yes,
it?
so it's funny because there are a lot of things about sleeping, and people say, oh, you have to sleep 8 hours, 9 hours, 7 hours. But I believe it's much more about the quality of the sleep and not about the duration. It's not about the quantity of sleep we do, but much more about the quality. Because you have so many studies that say, oh, by the way, also when you wake up, if you have an alarm, as soon as you wake up, because of the first alarm. Like, let's say I want to wake up at 6 a.m. Tomorrow. I will set an alarm, and then I feel so tired, I will stay in my bed for 1 more hour. Well, that hour will be like wasted. It won't be sleep for my body. It will be the same as if I get off the bed directly. I still don't know if it's true or not, but apparently, yeah, apparently, like as soon as you woke up because of something, let's say the alarm, it can be something else. Then the following time, I mean, if it's short, especially now, obviously, when you wake up at the middle of the night, I believe it's not that bad. But if you have an alarm and you stay 15 or 20 more minutes, probably, especially if it's lower than 90 minutes, which is the sleep cycle. I mean, it's every 90 minutes. Um, your your sleep will be just like, it won't count as a good sleep quality. And the same for the light. Apparently, it's the same for the temperature. You should sleep also in a room with like 17 degrees, more or less 16, 17, because the body, you will sleep better because we are used to, like before, a really long time ago, we were sleeping outside, of course, like people didn't have house. And so the body knows that when it's time to sleep, it has to be dark and the temperature has to be quite cold. Is it really true? Because sometimes you feel like you sleep well when it's warm. I believe it's easier to fall asleep, but now will it really increase the quality of the sleep? I don't know. So yeah, one of the study, yeah, it's 17 to 19 degrees actually. You should sleep. That's the best temperature. And it's better actually to have a blanket if you are really cold rather than to have a heater. Because probably it's more artificial heater, and the blanket will make the sleep better. So that's already something. In my case, usually I don't sleep a lot. In the past, I used to be able to. What I was doing in the past, a few years ago, I was always sleeping one night per week. And for one night, I would go just actually in a coffee shop, because at home, you are so tempted to actually go to your bed. If you're at home, your bed is there and you will end up on your bed and then you fall asleep. So I was always going to a 24 hours coffee shop, such as Starbucks or another one. And I would just be there with my laptop for the whole night. And it will have been, it was a kind of a productive night. For the whole night I was awake and I was so proud of this. Like, I was really, really happy. And directly after then at 6 or 7 I would leave the coffee shop AM. So for the whole night I would be there. There are people actually, it depends where, but in my case it was in Ireland. There's one 24 hours coffee shop. In Canada, in Vancouver, you have so many coffee shops open 24 hours, Breca and other nice coffee shops, even Starbucks, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe not 24 hours. But yeah, so you have some places anyway, and it was so good. And after, at 7, 8 a.m., like in Ireland, I would go directly to work at 8 a.m. And for the whole day, it was okay. I wouldn't fall asleep too much at work. I was normal actually. No, I wouldn't fall asleep at all. Sometimes I would feel a bit sleepy during meetings, because during meetings you're not, you just listen, and that's harder. But it was quite good. But now I'm a bit older, because that was just a few years ago. Actually, it was in 2017, 18. Yeah, so not, just 4 years ago. But now I feel more sleepy. It's a bit different. Like, I know if I skip one night without sleeping, I will feel it. It's a bit different. I used to travel overnight and take in an overnight bus, and I would sleep over there just for a few hours, not a lot, and just sleeping there would recover me, and I would feel so good for the whole day. Because I think sometimes it's just about your motivation. And in my case, when I do a lot, when I feel so happy, I don't need to sleep that much, because the energy created from my happiness will keep me more awake than sleeping a lot but being a bit down. I don't know if you see what I mean. I think also happiness or your motivation or the energy inside of you is more powerful than sometimes the sleep quality. Now, obviously, don't get me wrong. Obviously you need to sleep, and I wouldn't advise someone not sleeping for one night or even 3-4 nights. I think I'm a good person to speak about this because I did sleep. I did not sleep for 4 days at all, even not a little bit. I did that once, and I was so proud. Four nights without sleeping. It's a lot, but I did it a while ago, and I was really happy. But now I wouldn't be able to do that anymore because I would fall asleep directly. Now when it's 11, I cannot stay awake. But this is kind of new. I know that when you are forced to not sleep, it can be very dangerous on your body. If someone forces you to not sleep, because you are forced to not sleep, you will have stress, anxiety, and you will, after 1 or 2 or 3 nights, you might even die from a heart attack or something like that. However, when it's you who doesn't want to sleep, when it's from you, from your personal motivation, then it's much healthier. And the worst case scenario, you will be so tired after 3 nights, 4 nights, and you will just fall asleep, and after you will recover from it. I think the Guinness record of not sleeping, now you cannot do that anymore because it's about health. So Guinness record is not about not sleeping anymore. It's forbidden because people would just maybe have health risk just for to show that they could do that. But in the past it was possible to do a Guinness record, and I think the person who didn't sleep for the longest, let's have a look, it was 11 nights, 10 nights, how long, what would you search, how long not sleep, Guinness record.
Longest man to not sleep, Guinness.
Yeah.
Oh, 11 days,
that's
you're
also
right.
one. Yeah, 11 days.
Wow.
25 minutes. That's really precise in December. So he was 17 years old. But yeah.
I'm wondering if after the 5
That's a lot actually.
Yeah.
And since then, that was in 1946. I mean, now those kind of studies cannot really happen anymore. But that was the only one who did it that long, and it never happened again anymore. I mean, now obviously, like I said, it's because it's about health. It's not, people wouldn't, you cannot do it by yourself, but here at least there was a doctor and it was proven that he didn't sleep,
Oh, he's still alive. Nice.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it doesn't impact. Yeah, he's 75 years old. So if yourself you're forced to not sleep, that's okay. But if you are forced by someone to not sleep, then that will be
That's
it will
torture.
be very bad. Yes, and your body will feel it, and you might have a heart attack or something else. But now I would recommend to no one not sleep, because actually here in this audio we are speaking about why sleeping is so important. Although sometimes for me I don't really see the benefits. I have to say that in my case I still believe that sleeping is sometimes a waste of time, but I would recommend to everyone to sleep at least 6 to 7 hours. But again, 7 hours is like the recommended number, but yeah, it's hard to know. I think it depends of everybody now, because you can do genetic tests, and you can do like test about your DNA, and to know better yourself, you can maybe have like to know exactly what your body needs for sleeping, because I believe it's really, sometimes you need more sugar, you need different diet, because everybody is different, and I believe for sleeping it's the same. It's not because someone needs to sleep 7 hours, then someone else will need to sleep, maybe someone else will need just 4 hours, and that will be really healthy for that person, because that person will never feel feel sleepy. And maybe for someone else it's 12 hours. It's a bit unfair, but this is just how it is. Now, obviously, consistency. In my case, consistency is much more important. If you always go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time, it will just be the best for you. And obviously, just try to test and to know what's the best amount of hours for you to sleep. If you feel tired, then maybe you should sleep more, or maybe less, because sometimes when you sleep more, you feel more tired. You really have to test how long you need to sleep. And I don't know if you know that myth, but some people used, at least in the past, in my case, even my mom used to say that if you go to bed before midnight, all hours before midnight are the best hours for your sleep. And actually, this is a myth. It's not true. Although a lot of people still believe to that, but going to bed before midnight is just a myth from grandmothers. I don't know, probably because they wanted their kids to go to bed early. But no, your body doesn't know when it's midnight. You just have to be consistent. And the best is always to go to bed when the sun is set, and to wake up just before the sunrise. Just have a healthy diet. To me, sleep always the same amount of hours every day, being consistent, and you will just be fine. Like if every day you sleep 6 hours, but really good quality of sleep, you fall asleep directly because you are so consistent with your time, and you sleep in a dark place, in a dark room. It shouldn't be noisy. In my case, I used to sleep in hostels where there were like a pub just in the basement, and like the wall was even shaking because of the music, and until 3-4 a.m. I could hear every single music, but I would sleep very well. I used to sleep a lot of time in dorms, and I just did very well because when I have a very deep sleep, and when I sleep I'm just in my sleep, and it didn't impact myself. But I know everybody, again, even for that, some people have very light sleep and some others have very deep sleep. Again, that's unfair, but so you should try to build the best environment for you to sleep. In my case, I kind of like to not sleep on a bed, but mostly on the floor, on a futon, or on a small mattress. I'm not really a bed person for sleeping because I don't know, I just prefer when it's, especially on the floor, when it's really firm. Like, I don't know, I think it's better for my back. I sleep on my back, and when you sleep on something kind of not very soft, it helps my back to be, I don't know, in a better position.
Your posture, you mean?
My posture, yes. I used to sleep also, it really sounds a bit weird, on a desk, like a big desk. I would just lie, and that's it, It's good, like...
Don't worry, I slept on a pile of tissues.
You just go on a desk, and you just lie like this. You put your hands on your tummy, and you just close your eyes, and it's so easier to wake up, because when I think the hardest to wake up is when you are in your bed, in your quilt. But when you sleep just without anything on you, no quilt, no blanket, it's so easy also to wake up. You don't have a transition, and sometimes when you want to wake up, the transition is the hardest. Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, that's not weird for me, because I slept on a pile of toilet paper before. So yeah, sleeping on a desk makes sense.
Here we are not afraid to say truth about ourselves.
Yeah.
And there's nothing is taboo. There's no such a, I met people who slept on the grass, actually. Normal people, normal, everybody's normal, but I meant that person didn't have to sleep in the street or outside. It was just a choice. That person could have go somewhere to sleep, inside, in a hotel, or I don't know. But yeah, and apparently sleeping on the grass is good.
It is.
Apparently, after when you wake up, you have to be careful because you might have slugs on you.
Okay, that's Okay, that's not nice.
That's a bit gross. But again, like, it's about the quality of sleep. It's about where you have to. It's really personal. The best place you have to sleep, like, it doesn't fit for everybody. Like, it's like food, you know. Some people can sleep very well outside or on a desk, and some others, they really need their bed really soft, really cozy, with a lot of quilts, a lot of pillows. And I really understand that. For some, they really don't need any noise around, no lights. I know some people, they are sleeping with the radio on, the radio
Oh
for the
yeah,
whole
like
night.
for white
They
noises.
like it, yes. In my case, I used to listen a lot of podcasts, videos, audios. I mean, not videos, but courses, and even English course, but also English audios, but also marketing audios during the night, and I like it, and I sleep very well. I mean, I don't. At least when I wake up, I don't feel more tired. Maybe now it's hard to measure your sleep. Now, obviously, nowadays you have a lot of apps, you know, those kind of smart alarms also that detects when it's the right time for you to wake up, because they will it's an application actually you install of your phone. Your phone, you should put it nearby your bed, and so if it hears a bit of noise or if you move a bit, it will detect that, oh, maybe now is the right moment to wake up, because apparently when you start to move a bit, and so obviously it makes noise because you move on the bed, and when you start to move a bit, it's like the end of the cycle, and so it's time to wake up. So that alarms try to find the best moment to wake you up.
That's okay. That's a bit stalkerish, but yeah.
But you probably have heard about those kinds of alarm. But yes, no, I'm lucky in my case. I don't have any issues to fall asleep. I know that for some, they try to fall asleep for like 2 hours. For some people, I think then you shouldn't go to bed. You should never feel forced to fall asleep. Like, if you force yourself to sleep, you won't be able to sleep. Usually it's when you focused on something else that you fall asleep. You shouldn't focus on now I have to sleep, because then your brain will just do the opposite. You should just, I don't know, read or doing something else, and when you feel really sleepy, then go to bed. But sometimes it's fine. Sometimes it's because, it's not because it's 2 a.m. that you have to sleep. It's not because everybody else sleep that you have to sleep. If your body is not sleepy, well, don't sleep. At some point, your body will be tired, and then you can sleep. What about you? Like, how is your sleep, and how do you know more or less what's the best for you to feel well the next day, and some pieces of advice to sleep well?
I think for me, the thing is, I'm having a difficulty of sleeping when I'm alone actually, because I get distracted I get distracted
When you
easily.
are alone in the house or alone sleeping?
Alone sleeping, I get so distracted, and it's and I get so tempted to use my phone, and then but when you have people that are you should be sleeping, so say that influences you to to not consume media while on the bed, and then
I see.
you'd sleep, and then
again you do what surrounds you. In my case too, when I was sleeping in a dorm, for instance, if everybody sleep, well, I know I should sleep too, like
yeah,
you tend to do what others do.
yeah, it's
But
like,
when you're alone, you don't have other model to follow.
There's no model to follow. So yeah, when I'm alone, I'm having difficulties to tell myself to sleep, because and it's so tempting, because when it's night, the entire it's like the world around you is asleep. So you'd be more tempted to enjoy your alone time while everybody's sleeping, and you just take advantage of what you have now, which is I think relatable to other people, because you wouldn't want to sleep, because you'd want to enjoy the time alone with yourself. But then
I see.
but then it's not a good I mean, it's not a good mindset, I would say. But yeah.
So when you are alone now, if you have to do it again, you know that you don't sleep well alone, and you know that this is kind of your weakness. How would you make it better to prevent this kind of issues?
I think it's best to limit your screen time, I would say. And have your, actually there's this setting in your, I would in my case it's YouTube for me. So there's the setting in your YouTube app that would say give me a reminder that it's 1 a.m. you should be sleeping. And so it would pop up when you open the app, and it would say, hey, it's time to sleep, you're not supposed to be here. And yeah, it's a good thing.
So they have that on the YouTube app as well. I don't know.
They do.
But ideally also, I think normally what people say, again, depends for who, because some people don't do that and they can sleep very well. But if you have issues sleeping, you should avoid looking at any screens 2 hours before to go to bed. 2 hours, no TV, no phone, no computer. Just try to read and try to disconnect. 2 hours before to sleep is at the time just with yourself. Try to have a book, maybe a chat with someone, but that's it. And also eating just before to go to sleep is not really good for your sleep quality, because when you eat, normally you should eat, I would say, the latest should be 9, 8. Now it depends. Some people just like to eat late, and that's fine. But then it should be a light meal, not a heavy meal. If you have like a beef steak with French fries and
mashed
potatoes, a heavy dessert, and then it's already 11 or midnight, don't expect to sleep 20 minutes later. And although you might be able to, it's not healthy for your body. And it, at least for me, I noticed that is one of the things I noticed. My sleep quality will decrease if I eat a lot just before to sleep.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know if for you notice something, but yes, eating just before to sleep is not really good.
Yeah. So how about naps? Do you have naps?
In my case, I don't have naps. I'm not used to naps. So I'm not from Spain. I'm not from a hot country. And where I live, at least my parents usually don't have naps. So I'm not really used to naps. I wanted to practice the polyphasic sleep, but not naps. However, I know that naps are really healthy. When I used to live for a little while in Spain, in Barcelona, Madrid, everybody has nap, and all the shops are closed from 1 till 3 p.m. or even 1 to 4. It's normal because people have nap, and they have nap maybe for an hour, but then it's a bit of a break for them, and then after shops would open until 11 p.m. and people usually have dinner at 11 p.m. not before, really late too, but they have a nap, so they sleep less during the night because they wake up early too. Actually, they wake up usually around 7 or 6. It's not because they go to bed at 1 a.m. that they wake up late, but they have a nap for like an hour. It's like a kind of a long nap. Usually an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Some other people would have just a power nap, which is a kind of productivity nap for different reasons. Those kind of naps are not for weather reason because it's too hot and you just have to rest a little bit, but they just have a power nap to be more productive, and so they will have a nap for like 15 to 20 minutes. And yeah, it's a different kind of nap. Sometimes, you want to be still a bit awake, but not to fall asleep. So you will try to have a nap on a chair, but a long chair, like a chair you can lie a little bit, and you will hold a key on you. And as soon as you really fall asleep, normally your hand will, your muscles will just relax, and so the key you have in your hand will fall down, and so you will wake up, and that means it's the time to be like, okay, now I'm falling really asleep. So you want to be a bit sleepy, but not to sleep completely. And that's why some people advise to have like a key or something that will make noise if it falls down on the floor. So, you're on the floor that, no, obviously not on the carpet, but somewhere else where you have tiles. Tiles, thank you. And you will hold a key on your tummy, maybe, but in your hand. On your hand, you just be in kind of a sofa or maybe in a lawn chair, those kind of chair where you can...
like a bench.
Yeah, kind of. And hold that key, and so you try to fall asleep, but you know that the key will fall down when you will really sleep because your muscle will just relax, and that's a good way to know when
it's time to wake up.
What's the limit?
Yeah.
Sometimes I used to sleep in the bus, and I was holding my phone, and I remember when I was really falling asleep, my phone will fall down on the floor because of course.
Did you wake up?
No, it wasn't on purpose.
But I mean,
yeah, I would wake up because my phone is a bit heavy. Yes. But it really depends. In my case, I'm not really a nap person. Now you can have a nap. I used sometimes when I was a bit tired. Usually in public transport, I feel a bit sleepy. And when you really want to sleep a little bit in a public transport, then it's nice to have a eye mask, sleeping eye mask, because then it will help you to, it will be very dark, and maybe the quality of your nap will be better. But in my case, no, I didn't really experiment naps a lot, but I know that it's really healthy, and I believe it's even healthier than sleeping 8 hours every night. I believe it's better to sleep 6 hours a night and have, just have an hour nap or maybe 45 minutes nap every day. Yes. What about you?
I love taking naps. I take naps like 3 times a week. During the
usually.
day. Yeah, usually when I have the time.
What time would you have a nap?
Sometimes just before going to work, actually. Like an hour before going... Not an hour, like 2 hours before going to work.
I know you have different schedule. I know you don't have 9 to 5.
I don't have a 9 to 5 job
schedule.
For context.
So before to go to work means around 3 p.m.?
Around 3 p.m. And I'd sleep for an hour and then go to work. That's what I do. But then sometimes when I try to have a nap at 1 p.m. or 12 p.m., I tend to have naps longer than usual, and then I feel so bad. Like, it's so bad. I feel so tired afterwards.
When you sleep, because you don't wake up during the right cycle, and I believe it's because, after you feel even sleepier, or sometimes you have a headache, you feel worse. Yeah, I had that many times. You should really know if you should sleep or not. In my case, sometimes when I know that I have to also to leave, like I have a flight at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. Yeah, usually 4 a.m., 5 a.m., even 6, and I have to leave home very early. I know that it's better for me to not sleep at all, because if I go to bed, even for an hour after, I will feel way more sleepy. Because once I start to sleep, after, when I will wake up, I will feel a bit dizzy because I don't wake up during the right time, and I just break, the sleep cycle. And that's why the body is just, you don't feel right.
Yeah. When the nap is done right, it's good. It's great for your productivity. It's great to reset your mind. But then when it's not done properly, it's gonna be a problem for sure. Yeah, but yeah, I occasionally indulge myself with some naps from time to time, which is good.
And can you repeat like the best time for you for a nap?
For me,
duration?
The duration would probably be 45 minutes, I think, because for me, like if I
But
nap,
you don't set an alarm, do you?
I do. I set an alarm. The good thing about me is that when the alarm rings, I wake up immediately.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah.
Do you prefer to set a timer with 45 minutes on the timer, or more an alarm?
An alarm.
With a specific time to wake up?
Yes. That would be much better, I think. Because, the problem with the... with the timer, it's like the moment you press it, it starts, no? But the same with the alarm, but then...
Yeah, the timer at least you will sleep for like 30 minutes. The alarm, yeah, depends.
It's almost the same, no?
Almost the same.
Yeah, it's almost the same, right?
Yeah,
So,
sometimes the timer it's easier to set because you don't have to just set 30 minutes and that's it, and you just set the timer on. The alarm you have to it's a bit different, but yeah, it's almost the same. I know that sleeping obviously too much, like what we said, is also even apparently not really healthy.
Yeah, having too less or too
Like,
much of things actually
we
is not
cannot
good.
we cannot accumulate sleep. It doesn't work to not sleep for 2 days and then sleeping for 20 hours a night.
No, you can't.
No, you can't do that. And if you sleep for 30 hours a night, don't expect to be able to not sleep for the next 3 nights.
No,
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
doesn't work that way.
We cannot accumulate sleep. I used to even sleep for 20 hours in a row. I did. When I didn't sleep sometimes for a really long time, I don't know what happened, but yeah, I used to have every possible kind of sleep. I used to not sleep for days, nights, for a really long time. Every week I wouldn't sleep for one night. Sometimes it would be the night from Wednesday to Thursday. Sometimes it was the night from Tuesday to Wednesday. And after that, when I was living somewhere else, I used to go to a different city every weekend, and it will take me, because it was in New Zealand, so I used to go from Wellington to Auckland, overnight bus, and then on Sunday I would take again the bus at 8 p.m. and I would be in Wellington at 6 a.m. And for the whole night I wouldn't sleep a lot, but a bit, because they have a lot of stops. They go to some petrol stations overnight, and you have stops. So I had a sleeping eye mask. I would sleep maybe for 2 hours. So I would sleep at that time. I wouldn't not sleep at all. I would just sleep a little bit, but enough to feel quite well on the Monday to go to work. So it was still healthy. I felt, again, like I said, sometimes when you feel happy, when you feel motivated, it helps you to be more awake. Sometimes I used to spend the whole night in a ferry when I was going from Ireland to the UK by ferry in the Irish Sea. And so for the whole night, basically, I would stay with my computer, because in the ferry they would have Wi-Fi plugs, they had some restaurants, so it was really pleasant. I wouldn't sleep, and I would feel, it was quite good. After I had a little journey with the bus as well, because the ferry would be just for like 3-4 hours, and the majority of the journey was by a couch. So the bus. And yeah, I would sleep a little bit. So still, it's not sleeping at all there. I was sleeping a little bit that night, but to me it was quite good to have this kind of thing. Maybe it wasn't good for my health. I think it's easier when you are younger. When you are older, it depends actually, because I know that sometimes older you get, the less sleep you need. When you are young, you need to sleep more actually. When you are a teen, for instance, usually you would have to sleep more. I know that my parents, they don't have to sleep a lot. They just sleep six hours, and it's fine. And apparently this is the reality. When you get older, you don't need to sleep as much as you used to. But maybe the body is less resistant to not sleep at all.
Yeah. So I think so. My mom is actually the same as well. She doesn't sleep well, that's for sure.
Oh, she doesn't sleep well.
Yeah,
so not because.
Time.
Oh,
she's
right.
I think the more you get older as well, it's like you get this point where you're having a hard time sleeping, and you're not having quality sleep at all.
Is it because of anxiety?
Oh no, it's not anxiety. It's just it's just like even like she doesn't sleep well, I think. Yeah. Which is not good, because you need good quality sleep to be able to function throughout the day.
Indeed.
But yeah.
So what do you know what your mom does to improve her sleep.
Oh, she has tea.
Tea.
Yeah. Tea.
So for her, like maybe her trick, her tip is to have a tea before to go to bed.
Yeah, she takes, and yeah, I think the problem with my mother as well is that she also consumes media while on the bed. So yeah.
Oh, media, news. Oh, that's not good.
Like.
Yeah, you shouldn't consume media because
before going to bed. Yeah.
Yeah, having source of negativity before to go to bed is not good for you. Definitely not. Yes.
So.
It
apparently it runs in the family having having bad sleep routines.
No, I don't believe is genetic.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. Yes, you shouldn't, because sometimes
seriously.
you also see yourself as someone who doesn't sleep well, and so you say, "Yeah, me, I'm okay. I don't sleep well. I am like that," But you shouldn't assign yourself. You shouldn't see yourself. I cannot sleep. This is what it is. No. No one has a problem about sleeping. Okay, everybody has.
Actually.
Yes, everybody has different kinds of sleep. Sometimes you have very light sleep. Sometimes you have very deep sleep. Sometimes, since you are born, you don't need. You just go to bed and you sleep. I think it's nice when you have a bed. Your bed just should be just mostly for sleeping. Couple activity and sleeping. That's it. But you shouldn't work on your bed. You shouldn't be with your laptop on your bed. You shouldn't read. Reading, yeah, maybe. But if you do too much on the bed, then the brain won't see, yeah, this is, you won't be Pavlov where you are. It's nice, as soon as you lie on the bed, because the brain knows that the only time you lie on the bed is to sleep, it will be easier for you to sleep. And also, I believe it's quite important for you, to have this kind of, discipline with your bed, the way you sleep. I had something else to share actually about this, like pillows. In my case, I don't use pillow. I not in the past. Now I use pillow. I use a pillow again, but I didn't use pillow for ages, and I thought I was sleeping better actually without a pillow. I believe that again it depends of you. It depends how you like sleeping. Everybody has different habits.
And sometimes we change,
Sometimes we change, yes. Yeah, indeed. Sometimes we do. And again, sometimes the worst, I believe, you said your mom, she consumes news, media before to go to bed. And that's, to me, is not really good, because you will have a lot of thoughts before to go to bed. And this
no, what I meant is the Facebook media.
Oh, Facebook. Yeah, but still, she will see a lot of messages, a lot of, probably after she will have a lot of thoughts. First of all, it's a screen. She shouldn't have a screen in front of her before to sleep. Like what we said, otherwise you can use flux, warm light. Warm light is good, but still the best is just, turn off all your devices 2 hours before to sleep. And when you go to bed, it's nice to have no thoughts at all, like nothing in your brain. Just go to bed, no worries. I know it's so hard to do. It's easier to say, but just try to not have any thoughts at all.
That's good advice. But yeah, as what you said, easy to say, hard to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, at least, I would say that's it for my pieces of advice. Not sleep too much. If you need a nap, I would highly recommend having a nap. I wanted to try polyphasic sleep as well for ages. I still didn't have the chance to, because of my lifestyle primarily, and because you should, obviously, when you do polyphasic sleep, you should sleep in a really good environment, like no noise. The bed should be just perfect, because you want to increase the quality of sleep, because when you do polyphasic sleep, the main goal is to sleep way less than normally you do. So with polyphasic sleep, you can easily end up sleeping 5 hours a day, because you will just multiple the amount of sleep, and not the duration, but just the number of small sleep you will have. So it's like you would sleep for 45 minutes, 4 times. It depends how many times, but in a few times basically. It's kind of healthy. And probably my last recommendation is try to avoid having any kind of radiation, the EMF, Wi-Fi radiation frequencies, So first of all, try to turn off your Wi-Fi, your modem, your phone. You put your phone in plane mode. Try to not have it nearby your head, nearby your body. Try to turn off everything that might give notifications or radiations. The best also would be not having a TV in your bedroom, because a TV is also not really good. Apparently, it has some substances which might be bad for your brain. So you might not recover as much as you would normally if you have a TV, because the screen of the TV has some chemical substances which is not good for you, especially when you have to sleep. So that's it for me, at least. What about you?
Me, I'm the resident antagonist, so of course everything he says is perfect.
Don't say that. I like to have debates, so
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you next time for a new podcast.
Of course, see you next time.